Welcome, I see you here currently watching this video, and if you're here that means you obviously were interested in 9 minutes of useless information about Frankie. So, by the way, all of this is 100% definitely useless. But yeah, let's get started with 9 minutes of useless information about Frankie Beans. Frankie's very first appearance looks drastically different from the appearance he has now. There is only one art piece of this early rendition. Based on this early rendition, this is Fluffy Frankie's first known appearance, and has taken a few short steps into almost being official, but then was scrapped. There are currently 9 main versions of Frankie. There is said to be an incomprehensible number of Frankies that can and do exist, but are not highlighted as the main 9. The most recent version of Frankie to be created is Fanuber. Fanuber speaks telepathically to others, and only those he allows to understand his speech can hear him. Retro Frankie was a part of the main cast of Frankies at some point, but then was forgotten about. The first ever iteration of Frankie was seen publicly by 4 people on May 27, 2020. Fluffy Frankie and Original Frankie are the only Frankies to have the most design stages. A more obscure piece of information is that Fluffy Frankie has had 3 different designs throughout his existence, and not counting the earlier rendition, though you have likely only seen one version. The Frankie with the most art created of himself would be Fluffy Frankie. Fluffy Frankie has had many height changes throughout his existence, but they have always remained within the 5-foot range. His current height is 5 foot 8 inches. The tallest Frankie would be Latex Frankie, standing at 8 foot 11 inches, and the second tallest would be Dragon Frankie, standing at 7 foot 6 inches. Out of the 9 main versions of Frankie, most have themselves a signature weapon. Original Frankie has a pitchfork, Fluffy Frankie has a neon orange scythe, Latex Frankie has a giant neon purple knife, Bunny Frankie has a giant rusted pipe, Proto Frankie has an orange pitchfork, Dragon Frankie has a giant neon purple hammer, Shark Frankie does not have himself a weapon, Feline Frankie has elongating claws, and Fanuber does not have a weapon. Fanuber is the only Frankie to not have a title before his name, although his abbreviated name is NF, standing for Noob Frankie. Original Frankie was able to take off his mask in the early days of his creation. This would have implied he was human, although that is not the case. This physical feature was quickly dropped when lore started being introduced into the character. Most Frankies share a similar mask to original Frankies, and no, they cannot take theirs off either. Fluffy Frankie's title used to be Furry Frankie, although that was changed after some time due to his title sounding stereotypical. Most Frankies do not have organs or bones and are just filled with blood on the inside. This leaves many wondering how any of them function at all. The first ever iteration of Frankie was last seen by 6 people on May 16, 2021, and was never seen again. The shortest Frankie is Bunny Frankie at 3 foot 2 inches. Due to some not having organs, there is almost no Frankie that will eat food, and if they were, would taste absolutely horrible no matter how good or bad that food is supposed to taste. Latex Frankie's #1 fan is Hex. Had I written the lore to be different, the main cast of Frankies would currently be 8, as Latex Frankie should have been dead a long time ago. Latex Frankie used to be quite talkative, however since the incident, he no longer talks unless he has to. If looking directly at Latex Frankie while he is talking, it'd be impossible for you to notice his mouth moving. Latex Frankie used to be insane, and for a period of time, his dull, empty eyes were a part of his main design. Latex Frankie is recognized as an S+++ times 75 killer, due to his unique expensive skill set, so let's just say you would never want to fight against him. Latex Frankie is rumored to enjoy eating ramen, although none has ever observed him eating ramen or anything else for that matter. Latex Frankie may not be able to die naturally or even be damaged. There are now 10 pieces of information about Latex Frankie specifically. It has been rumored that Original Frankie keeps eating in his basement, although there is no such evidence to prove this. Original Frankie's design was based on CBT104's Roblox avatar. CBT104 Present used to be the name of this channel. The last video made as CBT104 Present was 2 years ago, and it is titled Restaurant Tycoon 2, Episode 1. The name, Frankie Beans, and the characters likely would have never existed had it not been for the hacking of CBT104's Roblox account on June 19, 2019. The most popular video on this channel currently is called Doors But Better, posted on February 3, 2023 with 404 views. Before Doors But Better was posted, Undertale Shenanigans was the most popular video on this channel for 3 months, gathering 241 views. Also, Cool Kid was first seen on a video with CB214 on January 25th, 2019, and it is titled Killing Circle People with Guns. The most recent video with Awesome Cool Kid has been posted on April 21st, 2023, and is titled Guns of Acid but Funny. The Peeps were first introduced onto the channel on September 4th, 2021, and the video is called The Peeps Play Seconds Until Death. The most popular video, including the Peeps, is called The Peeps Play Bear and It Gets Weird, posted on October 1st, 2021, with 182 views. The most recent video featuring the Peeps is called The Peeps Go to an Old Asylum, posted on February 5th, 2022. Merchandise for the Peeps started creation with the version 2 outfit for original Franky on November 1st, 2021, and was uploaded to the original Canned Beans Roblox group. The Canned Beans Roblox group currently holds 67 members. The Canned Beans Discord server currently holds 47 members. This channel currently has 124 subscribers. The official Franky Beans Roblox profile has 51 followers and has been given a thumbs up by 18 RoPro users. The Franky Beans account was last online 41 minutes ago as of typing this. The Franky Beans Roblox account has 1,160 place visits. The very first game to be created on the Franky Beans Roblox account is called You Can't Escape, which is a very poorly created horror game filled with things from the toolbox. The most popular game to have been created by Franky Beans has 14 favorites, 450 visits, and has a 90% like ratio. This game is called Guns of Acid. Sword Wars is the very first bid project to be created by Franky on Roblox with 6 favorites, 405 visits, and has a like ratio of 88%. The official Franky Beans Twitter profile has 51 followers. If Franky wanted to, he can make anything he wished to not exist, and this includes every universe, galaxy, and solar system, and the very planet you're watching this video on currently. The Frankies that exist do not exist in any particular space. This is very confusing and vague, I know. Frankies with a signature mask do not see colors in the way you do. Described by Fluffy Franky, quote, "Franky sees everything in a rough, sketch-like way. Only important items or individuals exist with colors in his eyes." End quote. Frankies with the signature mask do not have eyes, and their expressions are drawn on and look animated. The anthropomorphic Franky characters have some sort of maw that opens up, revealing what can be the inside of the mouth. Though this is not the case with the original Franky, as he does not have a maw, but with a full mask. This leaves many to question how he puts things in his mouth. If someone tried to say the number of Frankies there are, and they and anyone else listening would die due to the brain not being able to comprehend the number, whatever that may be. Frankies often compared to the popular Minecraft YouTuber and streamer Dream. To clarify, Dream was not something that was thought of at all when making Franky's official design. Fluffy Franky's gender used to be mistaken for female quite often by people who saw him due to his, at the time, very intentional feminine body composition. This was changed to have him look more masculine, but it is settled on with a more androgynous look since then. Fluffy Franky can store items in his very large tail. The inside has not been discovered, and it is unknown to the public if it is safe to explore. There is no known limit to how many items can be stored in his tail. It is not known if Latex Franky can do the same thing with his tail, despite it also being very large. Fluffy Franky can seemingly fit any sized item into his tail, whether it be something as big as a whole building, down to a grandfather clock. Fluffy Franky does not weigh anything, though depending on who picks him up, he can be extremely heavy to weightless. There used to be a universe that housed non-canon versions of Franky, though due to the fact that every version of Franky does not exist on any particular plane of existence, this non-canon universe ceases to exist, as it was very confusing to me. Some are confused on if Dark Franky is canon. I am not sure yet at this time. Fluffy Franky and Latex Franky have the biggest thighs out of the main 9. I know you probably expected something suspicious for number 69, so there you go. Any Franky could be watching you at this very moment in time. If any Franky was put next to the average height human being, Franky would appear about 2 times larger naturally to a human. This does depend on Franky's natural height, however. Original Franky has confirmed in a way that his pitchfork is alive. It can talk to him through his head seemingly, and has a gender. It is female. This is not a piece of information about Franky. And there you have it. That is 9 minutes of useless information about Franky. Maybe this gave you just a little bit more insight about him, despite all this information being useless. Don't quote me on the fact that some of these may or may not be useless. But if you enjoyed, yes, you should totally subscribe. You should totally consider doing that. That's a great thing that you should do. I'll see you guys in the next one.